Now we come this side of the board where we draw the posterior surface of the medulla oblongata. In order to draw the posterior surface, I need to rub this side. So therefore, we draw here the posterior surface parallel with the anterior surface. So here we go with the posterior surface. Are we having enough time? We have enough time. Very good. So therefore, now at the two extreme corners, we will go with these two structures, cross section which we are drawing. Now these two cross sections which I have drawn, they are inferior cerebellar peduncles, and these inferior cerebellar peduncles we will draw like this. We will narrow down in this way. Similarly, here also we show that these are the inferior cerebellar peduncles. Remember, this is the posterior surface we are drawing. Similarly, above, here we show that this will be middle cerebellar peduncle. Here we show the middle cerebellar peduncle. Now, at this point, upper level, we show stria medullaris. We just have to draw that. So, stria medullaris, we will show it in such a way that green color I will use for stria medullaris, and we show this stria medullaris in this way. This is what we have to show. So therefore, these stria medullaris, basically what are they will be explained later on. It will mark the junction between posterior surface of medulla and above pons. Remember, this is the posterior surface. So here at this level will be pons, and this is the posterior surface of medulla oblongata. So therefore, this region we name it as stria medullaris. Now we consider the posterior surface of medulla oblongata into two different parts, lower part, upper part. The lower part, this much, will be known as the closed part of medulla oblongata, and the upper part will be known as open part. So therefore, if I mark over here, this much will be the open part of medulla oblongata, and here, if I mark this, will be the closed part of medulla oblongata. So therefore, now, what are the features of closed part? What are the features of open part? Before that, try and understand the open part of medulla oblongata, where my hand is there, which we are going to fill up later on, will be the caudal part of fourth ventricle, because here the fourth ventricle will start. And therefore, the upper or open part of medulla oblongata, which is open, it will form the lower half or caudal half of fourth ventricle. What will form the cephalic portion or upper half of fourth ventricle? Pons. And what is the demarcating line between the fourth ventricle, where it divides the floor of fourth ventricle into upper pons and lower medulla? Stria medullaris. So first we consider the closed part. In the closed part, now we start with first, remember I told you posterior median sulcus. So this is the posterior median sulcus. So therefore, this posterior median sulcus, now we mention this as posterior median sulcus. This will continue down, this posterior median sulcus will continue down along with the posterior median sulcus of the spinal cord. Then we consider on either side there will be two swellings which we have to consider, fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus. The swellings of fasciculus gracilis and the swellings of fasciculus cuneatus, that is what we have to show. So therefore here we will show that at this point, this is the swelling of fasciculus gracilis. So here we show it with this swelling, and this fasciculus gracilis will be because of the underlying nucleus, which is known as nucleus gracilis. Lateral to it, there will be another two swellings. See here, there will be another two swellings on the right and left side, of course, and it will be known as fasciculus cuneatus. This will be known as fasciculus cuneatus, C-U-N-E-A-T-U-S. What will be underlying fasciculus cuneatus? Nucleus cuneatus. So therefore, here we will mark these as, this will be fasciculus gracilis and underlying this will be the nucleus gracilis. Then we will mark here this as fasciculus cuneatus, and underlying will be the nucleus cuneatus. This much we have to mark. These are the features of lower closed part of medulla oblongata. Medially fasciculus gracilis, and laterally there will be fasciculus cuneatus. Now lateral to it there will be another elevation, another swelling, which will be known as tuberculum cinereum. So lateral to it, if we consider this here, this swelling, this will be known as tuberculum cinereum. So here we consider this as the tuberculum cinereum. And what is this tuberculum cinereum? First we will mark here tuberculum cinereum. This is the elevation there. Tuberculum cinereum, this is the elevation lateral to fasciculus cuneatus, and here beneath this tuberculum cinereum is the spinal nucleus and tract of trigeminal nerve. And that spinal nucleus and tract of trigeminal nerve will continue. That spinal nucleus will continue till the upper two cervical segments of spinal cord. So that is also one mark question answer. Spinal nucleus will continue till the upper two cervical segments of spinal cord. And that spinal nucleus and tract of trigeminal nerve will have an overlying swelling elevation that is produced by tuberculum cinereum. And where is the location of tuberculum cinereum? Lateral to fasciculus cuneatus and medial to inferior cerebellar peduncle. So here this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. In between inferior cerebellar peduncle and fasciculus cuneatus will be tuberculum cinereum. So here these are the features of the closed part, lower part of the posterior surface of medulla oblongata. And fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus, the gracilis will carry the lower fibers, that is from the lower limbs and the lower abdomen and lower thoracic region. And upper thoracic region, head and neck and the limbs, they are carried, those regions, the fibers are carried by fasciculus cuneatus. But which type of fibers? The fibers which are carried by this gracilis and cuneatus will be the vibratory sense, conscious muscle joint sensations, and 2-point discrimination. These are the sensations which are carried by these fibers. So here we end with the lower closed part of medulla oblongata. At this point, as I told you, this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and on the anterior surface we showed that the junction between inferior cerebellar peduncle and caudal border of pons, there will be the vestibulocochlear nerve. That is what we showed on the anterior surface. So therefore, now if we close this structure here in this way, if we just close down, we form a lower V shape. What about the upper portion? In the upper portion, this is the lower V shape. Now in the upper portion, which will be the open part of the medulla oblongata. So upper part is also known as the open part of the medulla oblongata, and that open part will form the caudal region of the floor of fourth ventricle. And therefore, now what are the features of the upper open part of the posterior surface of medulla oblongata? The features are, as we know, this is the posterior median sulcus. This is the posterior median sulcus. Now on either side there will be sulcus limitans. So these two are the sulcus limitans. The eminence which is formed here in between sulcus limitans and posterior median sulcus will be known as the median eminence. So this will be known as the medial eminence. Now this sulcus limitans will be joining with each other in the posterior median sulcus and the lower down. Therefore, it will separate the medial eminence from the lateral area. Here in this medial eminence there will be the triangle, and this triangle which is formed at present, the triangle which is formed will be known as hypoglossal triangle. So therefore here I will mention this as hypoglossal triangle, apex pointing downwards. So hypoglossal triangle, apex pointing downwards. Lateral side, this area will be known as vestibular area. So this is also known as vestibular area, lateral side. Remember, these are the regions, these are the structures which are present in the open part, upper open part of the posterior surface of medulla oblongata. And the areas, these areas are there in the floor of fourth ventricle. These areas will be also discussed during the fourth ventricle topic also. But here also we need to mention these areas because they come as the structures which are present in the posterior part of medulla oblongata, but in which region? Upper, open region. That is why we need to discuss these areas. We just need to mention these areas. Vestibular area, that means vestibular nucleus. Area means underlying nuclei. Here hypoglossal area, that means underlying, deep inside, hypoglossal nerve nucleus. Therefore, now, this is very interesting. At this point, there will be another area and that triangle will be represented in this way. That triangle will be represented in this way. Now, in between vestibular area and hypoglossal triangle, there is another triangle which will be known as vagal triangle. Because underneath, beneath the vagal triangle will be the vagal nerve nucleus. So, vagal triangle. And the difference between the vagal triangle, please mark it, this vagal triangle. The difference between the vagal triangle and hypoglossal triangle will be the apex of hypoglossal triangle is pointed down and the apex of vagal triangle is pointed up. This was also asked as a MCQ or 1 mark question answer in previous years. Please note down. So therefore, the apex of hypoglossal triangle will be pointed downwards, the apex of vagal triangle will be pointed upwards. Vagal triangle is located between hypoglossal triangle medially and laterally vestibular area, and the apex of vagal triangle will have a small depression, and this small depression will be known as the inferior fovea. It will be known as inferior fovea. So here we mention this as inferior fovea. And then we come to lower part. Now in the lower part, extreme lower part, at the junction between the closed and open part, there will be ependymal ridge, and that ependymal ridge will separate the lowermost part from the vagal triangle. And what is the name of that ependymal ridge? The name of that ependymal ridge will be known as funiculus separatus. So here, these two are the ependymal ridges which are known as funiculus separatus. So spelling also you should mention here. This will be funiculus, F-U-N-U-C-U-L-U-S, funiculus separatus, S-E-P-A-R-A-N-S. Ependymal ridges. Area below the funiculus separatus. So which is that area? Here I'll give color to that area. This area which is present below the funiculus separatus, this area will be known as area postrema, P-O-S-T-R-E-M-A. So therefore, this area postrema is worth mentioning. We have to mention that area. Here I am having this space over here. So area postrema. The area which is located below the funiculus separatus is area postrema. Why it is important? Because respiratory centers are located here. The respiratory centers, the vomiting centers are located in area postrema. And immediately below the area postrema will be the starting of closed part of medulla oblongata with fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus and tuberculum cinereum and inferior cerebellar peduncle. So here, because the lower part, this lower part of the open half of medulla oblongata resembles the nib of an ink pen. It is known as calamus scriptorius. This is also a 1 mark question answer. What is calamus scriptorius? Calamus scriptorius is nothing but it resembles the nib of an ink pen. The lower part, this lower part, and that lower part is exhibited by funiculus separatus, area postrema. And above that is the vagal triangle, hypoglossal triangle. So therefore, here we end the entire posterior surface of the external features of medulla oblongata.